Hey guys, Tony Denaro here. With the GameStop and AMC saga continuing to unfold, there continues to be a lot of questions about the existence of synthetic shares and phantom shares. So I wanted to cover at a very high level what is a synthetic share and how is it different from a phantom share. If you find this sort of content valuable and you'd like to see a follow-up video showing how the hedge funds use synthetic shares against the retail investor in AMC and GameStop, drop me a comment below and I'll consider making one as a follow-up. Don't get all glassy-eyed. I promise it'll be a quick overview of synthetic shares, and then I'll explain the difference between those and phantom shares, both of which are problems. Before we get into it, take a moment please to buy and hold that subscribe button and hit a like on the video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. First off, what is a synthetic stock? A synthetic stock position is a combination of two options that exactly copy the risk reward of the stock itself. There also is such a thing as synthetic options. Synthetic options position is a combination of a stock position and an option position to exactly copy the risk reward of an option position. So what are the two types of synthetic stocks? There's a long stock synthetic, which combines a long call and a short put. There's also a short stock synthetic, which combines a short call and a long put. Again, to create a synthetic stock position, you're buying and selling two types of options. This video is not going to be a detailed breakdown on what are synthetic options, but you're probably familiar with some of the common names: a married put, covered put, married call, and covered call. By utilizing these strategies, such as in the first example, owning the stock or being long in the stock and buying a put as insurance, you're essentially creating a synthetic long call. That might take a minute to wrap your head around and maybe some graphs to prove it. But rest assured that a long stock and long put, in other words, you buy and hold the stock and you buy a put as insurance, you are creating the exact same risk reward profile as buying a call. So it creates a synthetic long call position. This simple chart here is just a stock payoff profile with the line in the middle being the price that you buy in a stock at. Obviously, if the price goes up, you profit, and if the price goes down, you have a loss. Now I'm going to compare that stock payoff profile to the first one on the list here, the long stock synthetic, which is a combination of a long call and a short put. In order to create the synthetic stock position, we need to come up with two options that exactly mirror this payoff profile. So at a very high level, this is not a tutorial for finance wizards, because if you're familiar with this stuff, you'll know that I'm leaving a couple of minor steps out. But at a very high level, this is how it works. You buy a call option at the current price, which will earn money if the stock continues to go up. The second part of the equation is you will sell a put option, which will obviously, if the stock goes down, as we saw in the chart to the left here, if the stock goes down, you're going to lose money. Selling the put option does not prevent you from losing money. What it does is by selling the put, you're offsetting the cost of buying your call option. So think of the put as canceling out the cost of the call option. And again, both the call option and the put option must be bought at the strike price, which is equal or as close to possible as the current price of the stock. Everyone knows how to buy and sell common stock, so this is just a high-level overview of that. If you bought 100 shares at $50 and after time T, let's say it's 1 year, you sold that stock at $55, your total profit would be $500. Now, if we're going to compare that to the synthetic stock where we have the call and put option, let's say we bought the call option for $100. That cost us $100. We sold the put option for $95. So our out-of-pocket cost was $5. And again, we're going to assume at the end of time T, the stock itself is worth $55. So our call option is worth $500. our put option would be worth 0, and our net profit would be $495 after we subtract the out-of-pocket $5 cost. So in essence, on the upside, our profit from selling stock is pretty much the same as with the call and put strategy. Now let's say that the stock did not perform and it actually went down. If you owned the stock and you had bought it at $50 each for 100 shares, $5,000 investment. If the stock went down to $45 after time T, let's just say that's 1 year, your investment would now be worth $4,500 for a loss of $500. Looking at the synthetic option, we'll see it's exactly the same payoff profile. So again, at the top, if we had bought the stock, we lost $500. Again, if we bought the call option for $100 and sold the put option for $95, our out-of-pocket was $5. This time we're assuming that the stock is worth $45 at the end of time T. So our call option would be worth 0 because it was below the strike price. And our put option is also worth 0 because we sold the put option. Remember, we captured that premium in our pockets at the time that we sold it for $95. Since the stock price is below the strike price of the put, we're going to have that put option exercised against us, and we will need to buy 100 shares of the stock for $50 each, costing us $5,000. The current value of the stock at $45 a share times 100 shares is $4,500. When we add in the $5 out-of-pocket cost from the options, our loss in this example is $505. So pretty much the same as if we had bought the stock itself. When would you want to use this scenario? A long combo synthetic stock is used by someone who's generally bullish on the stock. So you would execute this option strategy if you were bullish on the stock and you, for example, didn't want to commit all of the funds to buy $5,000 worth of stock. You could just buy the call option and sell the put option. If you were bearish on the stock, you would want to execute the short synthetic position, in which case you would sell a call and buy a put. And if you'd like to see a video breaking down that with graphs, let me know in the comments. Getting into phantom shares, this is what we commonly worry about with people that have margin accounts where their broker is able to loan out the shares that they have to hedge funds or people that want to short the stock. So let's say you have an investor who owns 1,000 shares of company XYZ in a margin account, and their broker, unbeknownst to the investor, loans out those 1,000 shares to a hedge fund. The hedge fund gives investor A IOU, which you won't actually know about. That's all handled through the DTCC. And now the hedge fund has control of 1,000 shares of stock. And now essentially there are 2,000 shares of stock because you think you have 1,000 shares and the hedge fund definitely has 1,000 shares. All you have is an IOU. What happens next is the hedge fund will sell those shares short, hoping to buy them back cheaper later. So they will sell those shares to somebody else, let's call them investor B, who now gets control of those 1,000 shares. The hedge fund receives cash in exchange for their short sale. And we still have 2,000 shares in circulation. However, if investor B also has a margin account, now his broker can loan out those shares. So let's say another hedge fund borrows those shares. Now we have 3,000 shares in circulation. Investor A has an IOU, investor B has an IOU, and the second hedge fund has the 1,000 shares of stock. The second hedge fund can also short sale those 1,000 shares. Let's say they put them on the market on a short sale. They were bought by investor C, and the hedge fund receives cash. Investor C has the 1,000 shares. Again, investor A and B both have IOUs. We still have 3,000 shares of stock. But you can see how this process can repeat itself over and over. And if you keep on multiplying this process out, you can see how quickly we can accumulate hundreds of millions of phantom shares. Some would say billions. The sad thing is you probably will never know that you only have an IOU and your broker is lending those out because they're making money on interest and not paying you for that. The only way really to prevent this sort of thing from happening is to make sure you tell your broker that you only want to trade in a cash account, not a margin account. I want to thank you again for watching today. Don't forget to buy and hold that subscribe button. Help me get to 200 subscribers by the end of month 2 on my channel. Drop me a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next video.